What up, nerds? Okay, so as the title says in this video, I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial just to show how, I guess, to go from a hardstyle track into transitioning into that trap or dubstep drop. You're gonna be seeing me using a bunch of somatic samples just to make things go by really quick. I'm not going to be focusing on sound design, music theory, or anything like that in this video. Mostly about the arrangement. Hopefully this video does help you out somehow. And yeah, let's get into it. As you can see in my session, again, you can do this on basically any DAW. I'm using the kick that I used in my Amsterdam remix. So as you can see, what I've laid down right now, we're going to go from a build up into a drop with a very simple somatic pre-drop. We want to remember that because trap and dubstep and hardstyle is relatively in the same tempo, you could do a lot of things just because those genres are so similar in tempo. A hardstyle kick is going to be hitting basically on every beat, and it's just a matter of making sure that whatever you have in your hardstyle drop transitions well into your trap drop. What I like to do, as you can see, I've got a very simple screech pattern here. So that was the hardstyle drop. So I can literally already show you already how easy it is to transition into a trap or dubstep drop. I'll show you how simple it is. I'll literally open up a loop. I'm gonna open up. Actually, let's start with a trap loop first. The typical 808 kick and snare. Let's see. There we go, drum loops. Let's use this. Let's just change the key into F, as we know that this is in E. I'm gonna go up by 1 semitone. Now this is following my root note, which is I'm already in F. So it might work, it might not, but because I'm using a loop, there's things that's going to be out of my control. But this would give me a rough idea into the type of beat that I want after my kicks, after my hardstyle kicks. Oh yeah, and of course after this I'm gonna put in a build up, so we know that transition is coming. We just need to remember that build up has to be very subtle in a way. See, like, I'm basically halfway done just from using a loop. Like, yeah, of course, I don't want to use a loop, of course, but for the sake of this tutorial, just to show you how, like, you know, don't overthink it. Like, you could use a bunch of reference tracks that would come up and you'd be able to follow them. And especially with screeches as well, you're able to muck around with a bunch of different beats just because you have a relatively simple screech, you know. And as I showed you before just now, I literally just put in a trap, somatic trap loop after a Hardstyle track. And as I was mentioning, in terms of a build up, right? So we want that build up to hit again, but because we have a lot of energy and information going here, we want to sort of, in a way, creep the build up in the rises and all that in the background. My personal opinion, I wouldn't be slamming too much sound, too much rises or anything into it. I'm gonna play it from here, and I'm gonna find the sweet spot, what I think is a sweet spot for the second, for this transition from a hardstyle into trap. So that sounds decent enough. I'm just gonna I'm gonna automate it. So from here, so for the first build up, I'm fine with that first build up being at that level. For this one, because I don't want to take away from what I currently have, all this information going in, of how your brain perceives it, you know, like there's all these kicks going, especially for a hardstyle kick, they're pretty powerful. Apart from mix wise, yeah, you might just ruin your mix, you know, make it harder in the long run. Something like that is just subtle, you know, it's just something to tell your brain that, hey, this is freaking coming, something's fucking coming up, get ready. Again, I'm literally just repeating the rises that I have, getting rid of some frequencies in the high end. Of course, don't forget that when you're doing the mix down later on, you would want to be hard chaining everything, but I'll go through that later. I'll go through more of that maybe in a future video. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, so I apologize in advance for the sound being very different as compared to before. I just did some tweaks on the OBS, so you're gonna hear me sound a bit louder and Ableton's gonna be a bit quieter, but it should even out. Now, I showed all of this to you and how this works and switching into a trap drop. I'm going to go on a really wild, I guess, take a wild stab at it and see what it would sound like now with dubstep drop. Now with this dubstep drop, the beat gonna be very different. So you're going to might need to make a few tweaks, but we'll see how it sounds first. As you can hear, I think for this track doesn't sound as powerful as when it was a trap drop. It is possible though for us to do a few things with the screeches to make it fit. So let me try a few tweaks on the screech and see what I can do with it. Well, yeah, as you can see, just a few tweaks and you can make it sound the way that you want to fit that beat. Because like I'll show you an example from here, right? Okay, it might work a bit with the stabs of a screech, but I reckon it sounds better with what I just did. Maybe this one. Maybe this one going down instead of up. And hey, like, because you changed that in your dubstep drop, fuck it, let's see what it would sound like on this. For the hardstyle drop, I mean. Spoken, not the zone. So now let's see what that sounds like with the new screech pattern that I just put in. Spoken, not the zone. Not the zone. Spoken, not the zone. Okay, so I did a few edits and I changed the screech pattern. We saw that the new pattern that I put in, it works, right? So fuck it, let's try putting it into my original hardstyle drop instead of the static stabs that I have right here. Let's put this here, which I did, and for the second half of the hardstyle drop, I went and pushed it up an octave. So this is what we get. Spoken, not the zone. Spoken, not the zone. Well, there you go. Just a few tweaks here and there, and I was able to make sound, I guess, into the way that I was after. Okay, so this next technique that I'm gonna show you, we instead of going from a hardstyle drop into the trap or dubstep drop switch, whatever you want to call it, right? What you can do is you can actually place a gap here. So this section here, counting the bars I have, if you were to count this, it's essentially the same length as my build up into my drop. So what I'm trying to say basically is we can actually place a secondary, we can place another build to break this whole thing up, to break the hardstyle drop with the trap and dubstep drop. You'll find this in quite a few tracks actually. I'm gonna work on this I'm gonna come back and I'll show you guys what I mean.
She's my cologne and I'm smoking out the zone. Smoking out the zone.